Hello friends, today's topic is something that I've been really wanting to talk for a very long time. It's about the competition and comparison that exists within students. In today's video, I'll be talking about the physical, mental and spiritual effect of comparison towards a student's mind. I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you for clicking on this video and let's get started with the video. Everything has competition and comparison. From sports to academics to even wealth accumulation, where you compete with each other to see who is doing better in life. However, competition in studies is something that was taught to us by our school system, and that would be our topic for today. But sadly to say, competition in studies is doing more harm than you can ever imagine, and it's impacting our students in a much bigger scale. You see people, before approaching this topic, we must understand why were competitions and comparison put in the first place by our teachers, parents or even school system to see who is doing better or who is doing worse. This is because there are many benefits when it comes to competition among students. The first and obvious reason for competition among students is that it motivates them even more to be better than their peers, and this causes them to put an extra effort to give their best when it comes to studying. This causes them to find new ways to improve themselves just so that they could be ahead of the others and they could be in a good position in their studies. The next benefit of a healthy competition among students is that they learn how to work together and they learn how to go the extra mile just to achieve something. When you are competing yourself against the others, you tend to be more curious in what you are doing and you tend to put in more work and put in more effort and give your best to achieve that particular task. So, those were the two main and obvious benefits of competition among students. But this is where the actual problem lies in. You see people, when we take a look at the other side of the spectrum, we will come to realize that it is clear as day that competition among students is not the best way to make them study effectively and to make them successful in their studies, and I'm here to shed some light on that. Before I move on further, I'd like to let you know that I'll be breaking this down into three sections. That is the physical side, the mental side and the spiritual side. How competition and comparison among students has an effect in all these areas of their life. So let's start with the physical side. How competition and comparison can develop negative attitudes of a student. The first thing is when someone is put in a competitive environment or when someone is always being compared with others, in their mind the only thing that they need to do to gain the love and the trust of people around them is that they need to be better than their peers. They need to do well compared to their friends. This will then lead to students doing unethical actions. For example, they would go all out to maybe even cheating in an exam just so that they could be better than their friends. Not only that, a highly competitive student will not be helpful to their friends. In their mind, if they manage to help other people, then the other person will be better than them. So they do not want this to happen, so they would end up not sharing their knowledge or not being helpful towards others. And this is what we do not want to see in our future generations. On the other hand, if they do very well in their examination, they'll start to look down towards other people who did not do well, because in their head they are the winners and others are the losers. If they did badly in an exam, this causes them to have a very low self-esteem about themselves. They don't feel good. They think everyone else is better than them and they think that they are incapable of achieving great things as their peers do. And this is what we do not want students to think. Moving on to the mental disadvantages of competition and comparison in students. The most obvious effect is it causes anxiety and it causes stressed out students. They're always thinking on how can I do better than the other person, how can I do better than this person, and it messes their mental health up. They do not do it for themselves. Instead, they do it just to beat other people. Their sole purpose is not to get good at this particular subject or this particular exam. Their sole purpose is I must do even better than my friend. and this is not very good in the long term. Or in some cases, they feel that they need to compete and beat everyone else in order to gain the love and the respect and the status of their family members or teachers or their school or whatsoever. They think that only if they are better than their friends, they will be given the proper care and they will given the proper respect from other people. And that is also not true, because you deserve your respect, you deserve love no matter how you are in life. And once this happens, it messes up with their brain and in their mental activity, and they will study not for the knowledge, but they will study just to beat their peers. Now moving on to spiritual disadvantages, I think this is the most important thing that we need to understand about comparison with others. When you are always being compared, when you are always put in a competitive environment, your happiness will be determined by other people's misery. What do I mean by this? You only feel happy when other people do not do well and when you do better than the others. Let's say you do well in this particular subject, but your other friends did even got higher marks than you. This will cause you to not feel as good, because in your mind you did not win, even though you did very well, but in your mind you did not win. So when other people fail, let's say you only passed for the exam, but all your other friends failed in the exam, this causes you to feel happy because everyone else failed and I am the only one who passed. It's not supposed to be that way. Your happiness will be determined by other people's misery, and that is not it's supposed to be. Like what Sadhguru always mentions.
If you are going to school, what your parents will say? You must be number one. If you are number one, what about all the other 30-40 kids who are there? They must be below you.
They're losers.
They're losers. So your joy is only in other people failing. When your joy is about other people's misery, that's not joy, that is sickness.
If your happiness is determined by other people's misery, that is not happiness, that is sickness, because what you feel on the inside is determined by how the outer world is, and that is not how you're supposed to be. You should control how you feel on the inside. When you do well in that particular subject, you must be happy for yourself. It does not matter how the others do, because that is their life and they are different than how you are. The second spiritual disadvantage is that it paralyzes you from working alone. In the long run, you will need people around you to give you that competitive surrounding. That is when you will give your best. You will lose your ability to self-motivate yourself, give yourself the self-confidence, believe in yourself that you can do the best and you will do your best. You will need people around you to constantly give you competition so that you will be on your toes and you will do the best only when you have pressure around you. But we need to know, in the real world, everyone will be on their own path. No one is there to give you the competitive environment that you need. You will need to learn how to work on yourself. You will need to learn how to self-motivate. You need to learn how to believe in yourself. Give yourself the confidence to always do your best in whatever you do. You need to learn how to be on your best and not only do your best when there's competition or when there's pressure around. Even there's no pressure, we need to have the ability to give out the best that we could. That is the real important skill that we need once we step out to the real world. You must learn how to work alone. If you can master the ability to work alone and give your best when you are alone, nothing can be a distraction for your success. Those are the two spiritual disadvantages of always being compared with others. The first thing is that your happiness will be determined by other people's misery. Only when other people fail, you will be happy. And that is not happiness, that is sickness. The second thing is that it paralyzes you from working alone. You won't be able to learn how to self-motivate yourself to work alone, and you will always need the pressure or the competition or the comparison around you so that you can give your best. And that is never a good thing. You need to learn how to be independent and work by yourself. So the final message that I would like to say is that to all parents or teachers or students who are watching this, please eliminate the fact that an exam grade is the metric to determine how smart a particular student is. This is absolutely false, and I could not stress this enough. Exams are definitely not everything, and children are absolutely talented beings. Some of them will definitely won't fit into our rigid school and exam system. Times have changed. There are many more opportunities out there rather than formal education. If your child shows talent in something, please take the time to acknowledge and nourish those talents. Those are gifts from the higher power. And stop comparing them to other family members, friends, relatives, neighbors, or whoever it may be. Our school system definitely won't be able to accommodate all types of students under one roof. Everyone is unique in their own way, and you should know about your child better. Most of us were told to believe that without competition we would not strive for success. But the truth is, there is no such thing as healthy competition when it comes to learning something, when it comes to studies. In a competitive culture, a student is told that he is not good enough or he should do better than the other person. But when the more he competes, the more he needs to compete to feel good about himself, because he can only feel good when he beats the people around him. But that is not how it works. We need to teach students to how to feel good about themselves always, regardless of what situation that they are in. Winning in studies doesn't mean anything. It's just a temporary victory. It doesn't build character. By definition, competition means there is winners and there is losers. When one student wins, another student loses. This will then lead to envy winners to dismiss all the losers. And that is not something that we want in our education. However, cooperation on the other hand is marvelously beneficial to students. Rather than competition, cooperation teaches students how to work together, to communicate effectively, and to accept others for who they are. These are the real skill sets that we need when we are interacting with the outside world, and it needs to be developed from a very young age. Students will naturally feel better when they can work with other people rather than work against them, and their self-esteem will not be dependent on them getting better grades than their peers around them. This is absolutely important. So that is the video for today. I really hope that parents, teachers and students can collectively work together to eliminate competition and comparison in learning. There is no need to compete to learn something. Everyone has their own ways and their own pace. Everyone is special and unique, and everyone has their own talents. Together, we can really make a change. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment your thoughts about this topic down below in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on students and education. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kevin David. See you in the next one. Peace out.